Aiden, Minecraft Story Mode Season 1. Our adventure begins with Aiden, the poster child for that friend who takes competitive gaming way too seriously. Appearing in Episode 5, Order Up, Aiden goes full supervillain by unleashing mobs on Sky City like some sort of blocky terrorist. The boss fight takes place in a throne room during a dramatic rainstorm because even Minecraft Story Mode understands atmospheric lighting. Jesse, our protagonist, must face off against Aiden in what the game describes as a very climactic battle, though, let's be honest, in a world made of blocks, every battle looks pretty much the same from a distance. What makes Aiden particularly frustrating isn't his combat prowess, it's his personality. This is a boss fight against pure, concentrated teenage angst, complete with dialogue that makes you wonder if the writers had ever met a real teenager. Aiden fights with typical melee attacks, but his real weapon is his ability to make players question why they're emotionally invested in blocky characters who can only move their arms up and down. Jesse has multiple options for dealing with Aiden: help him, leave him behind, or push him off the edge. If you help him, he experiences character development. If you push him off, he survives anyway and gets arrested, displaying that even in story mode, gravity is more of a suggestion rather than a law. The Ancient Guardian, Minecraft Dungeons. The Ancient Guardian from the Hidden Depths DLC is everything terrifying about the ocean condensed into one massive spike-covered fish. This boss lurks in the Abyssal Monument level, with its shadow ominously swimming overhead like Jaws, but blocky and somehow more unsettling. The boss fight begins with the Ancient Guardian breaking through a wall like an aquatic Kool-Aid man, except instead of refreshing beverages, it brings pain. Its laser beam can turn unprepared players into seafood, while extending spikes create shockwaves like fighting a giant underwater cactus. But that's not all. This oversized fish has commitment issues and will swim in and out of the arena during the fight, probably to check its Instagram or something equally important. It can summon guardians, elder guardians, and biome mines, which are underwater explosive devices for players who thought the fight wasn't chaotic enough. The death animation is particularly satisfying for this one. It flips over like a dead fish, which is both appropriate and hilarious. Either way, players are left with the satisfaction of having defeated their most annoying frenemy in a dramatic showdown. Illager, Minecraft Dungeons. The Illager, aka the quiet kid with unlimited power and an impressive cape. This diminutive antagonist has become Minecraft Dungeons' face, appearing on promotional material more than most players appear in their screenshots. In the opening cutscene, we watch the Illager's origin story unfold like a blocky version of a superhero movie, except instead of using his powers for good, he immediately goes full dictator. He acquires the Orb of Dominance, becomes king of all Illagers, and leads attacks because he was having a bad day and decided everyone else should too. The boss fight takes place at the Obsidian Pinnacle, where he shoots 3 purple blasts and summons circles of Vindicators and lines of Pillagers. What makes him interesting is that he is essentially a red herring. After the defeat, the real final boss appears, the Heart of Ender. The Illager's defeat leads to one of the game's touching moments, as he's released from mind control, making him less villain and more cautionary tale. The Beast, Minecraft Legends. The Beast represents the Horde of the Hunt faction and charges into buildings like a furry wrecking ball. When things get heated, the Beast will leave to get reinforcements, which is not a brilliant strategy. It's like forgetting you left the stove on. Its primary weapon is a club, which it uses to slam into the ground with enough force to make players question their architectural choices. If the village attack ends, the Beast doesn't just give up, it comes back the next night like the world's most persistent door-to-door salesman. The boss fight's conclusion is dramatic. When defeated, the Hoglin it rides tosses the Beast into the air and it knocks itself out with its club. Basically, a tragic workplace accident. The Corrupted Cauldron, Minecraft Dungeons. The Corrupted Cauldron is Minecraft Dungeons' first boss, and it sets the tone for a wild game where even kitchen equipment joins the forces of evil. This boss doesn't move, instead relying on magical abilities and summoned minions. It surrounds itself with purple fire and pulls dead mobs into itself to regenerate health. Throughout the fight, it summons zombies, vindicators, and pink slimes like aggressive jello. When players finally manage to defeat the Corrupted Cauldron, All of its summoned mobs immediately die, which raises interesting questions about the nature of magical life support in the Minecraft universe. It's a satisfying conclusion to a fight that manages to be both genuinely challenging and completely absurd. The Devourer, Minecraft Legends. The Devourer takes aggressive gardening and cranks it to 11. This fungal nightmare serves as the Horde of the Spore's ultimate plant-based boss, ready to turn the world into its personal compost heap. Its attack repertoire reads like a horror movie script by someone with plant phobias. Slam attacks, long-range spit attacks, acid spew, and an insta-kill groan attack. At 70% and 30% health, it jumps further into its base, forcing players into interdimensional hide-and-seek. The death animation is appropriately gross, throws up everywhere while mushroom spores explode as it collapses. It's a fitting end for a boss that represents everything terrifying about nature when it decides to fight back against civilization. Sometimes the real enemy isn't technology or magic, it's aggressive horticulture with boundary issues. The Ender Dragon, original Minecraft. The granddaddy of all Minecraft bosses. The Ender Dragon established the template for epic encounters in a blocky world. This magnificent beast has terrorized players since 1.0, serving as the ultimate test for those brave enough to venture into the end. The dragon's behavior patterns have become legendary among Minecraft players. It follows predictable flight paths, occasionally diving at players who get too close to the center portal, and periodically perching on the exit portal to catch its breath and presumably contemplate its life choices. During these perching moments, the dragon becomes vulnerable to melee attacks, leading to the time-honored tradition of players frantically building towers to reach it, while praying they don't accidentally place a block in the wrong spot and fall to their doom. When defeated, it doesn't just fall over. It cracks and shoots light beams like a cosmic disco ball, then explodes into 12,000 experience points. 68 levels worth. The dragon's defeat opens end gateways, spawns the dragon egg, which teleports if you mine it correctly, and opens paths to outer end islands. The Giant Ghast, Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. The Giant Ghast takes regular ghasts, already flying neighbors who play music too loud at 3 AM, and multiplies the annoyance by 3. This massive three-headed terror appears in Jailhouse Block, shooting volleys of fireballs like dangerous fireworks. The boss fight takes place in a setting that probably looked great on paper, but in practice resembles trying to fight a flying nightmare while standing in what amounts to a cosmic prison cell. The Giant Ghast attacks by shooting groups of fireballs, not just one or two, but entire volleys that light up the sky like the world's most dangerous fireworks display. It also calls in regular-sized ghasts for backup because it has some sort of supernatural middle management position in the Nether hierarchy. Jesse defeats it using the classic strategy of let them fight each other, tricking smaller ghasts into attacking the giant one. The final blow comes when Jesse stabs its weak spot, raising questions about why floating tentacle creatures have obvious vulnerabilities. Giant Magma Golem, Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. This towering inferno appears when Jesse tricks Romeo's combat challenge to level 600. It attacks by spitting fireballs and magma cubes like a geological vending machine programmed for violence. Jesse's strategy involves the classic Minecraft tactic of water solves everything. By covering the golem in water, Jesse turns this terrifying lava monster into cobblestone, which is significantly less aggressive and much easier to deal with. The transformation from giant magma golem to pile of cobblestone is both anticlimactic and oddly satisfying. It's like watching someone deflate a particularly aggressive balloon animal. Once the golem becomes cobblestone, Jesse can simply break the blocks, reducing this epic boss encounter to what is essentially a very dramatic mining session. The final insult comes when Jesse and friends trick the now cobblestone golem into falling into a giant pool of water, completing its transformation from fearsome boss to underwater decoration. Giant Spider, Minecraft Dungeons Arcade. The giant spider gets its moment when the Illager enchants a regular cave spider. What sets the giant spider apart from other Minecraft bosses is its origin story. It's a regular mob that got a magical performance enhancement from the game's main villain. The giant spider's attack repertoire focuses on classic arachnid combat techniques, but scaled up to boss-appropriate levels. It can bite players, which is exactly as pleasant as it sounds when the spider doing the biting is roughly the size of a small building. It shoots trapping webs at players, turning the battlefield into something resembling a very aggressive arts and crafts project, and when players try to maintain distance, it dashes toward them because apparently even giant spiders understand the importance of closing the gap in combat. Fighting it triggers multiple phobias: arachnophobia, megalophobia, and the specific fear of being trapped in webs while giant fangs approach your face. The Great Hog, Minecraft Legends. The final boss of Minecraft Legends embodies Big Pig energy applied to interdimensional warfare. After defeating Horde leaders, the Great Hog appears with an enchanted spear that it uses to attack the Well of Fate. The journey to face the Great Hog involves making your way through the overworld to reach a base that combines features from all the different Horde bases you've previously conquered. It's like a greatest hits album, but instead of music, it's architectural elements designed to make your life difficult. When you finally reach the center of this composite fortress of frustration, the Great Hog notices you and decides it's time for the final confrontation. The Great Hog's combat abilities reflect its status as the ultimate boss of a strategy game. It can throw spears at players, which is both practical and surprisingly aerodynamic for something wielded by a massive pig. It slashes at enemies with these spears, demonstrating impressive weapon handling for a creature that technically doesn't have opposable thumbs. The charging attack involves spinning the staff while moving, creating a whirlwind of destruction that looks like the world's most dangerous baton twirling routine. The climactic end involves the Great Hog attempting to destroy the Well of Fate, backfiring spectacularly and sending all piglins back to the Nether. Hadrian and Mevia, Minecraft Story Mode, Season 1. These old builders embody everything wrong with unlimited power and free time, creating elaborate games for their entertainment while everyone else suffers. They killed Jesse during the fight, but he respawns thanks to Game World's properties. Jesse's strategy for dealing with these two cosmic bullies involves using their own arena against them. He pushes Mevia into a piston crusher, which is both creative problem solving and deeply satisfying revenge for all the suffering she's caused. Hadrian gets a similar treatment when Jesse breaks the blocks from beneath him, sending him to the same mechanical fate. It's poetic justice delivered through Minecraft's most reliable gameplay mechanic, gravity. The aftermath of their defeat depends on choices players made at the very beginning of the game, which is either clever narrative bookending or the writers realizing they had to make those early decisions matter somehow. Hadrian and Mevia get sent to a dimension full of either zombie-sized chickens or chicken-sized zombies, which sounds like either a really weird petting zoo or a very specific kind of nightmare. Either way, it's a fitting punishment for two beings who thought other people's suffering was entertainment. Heart of Ender, Minecraft Dungeons. This writhing mass of cosmic horror emerges after defeating the Illager, serving as the true final boss. What makes the Heart of Ender particularly disturbing is its design. Players can actually see the Illager's body trapped inside this pulsating nightmare, which raises uncomfortable questions about consciousness, identity, and whether cosmic artifacts come with adequate health insurance. The Heart of Ender moves by scuttling around the stage on 6 legs, which is exactly as unsettling as it sounds. It leaves behind a trail of damaging black ooze, turning the entire battlefield into an obstacle course of cosmic slime. This forces players to constantly reposition themselves, which would be challenging enough without the added pressure of fighting something that looks like it crawled out of a Lovecraftian fever dream. One memorable attack involves heads popping out of the ground to shoot purple beams, turning the arena into whack-a-mole with interdimensional horror faces. The death sequence of the Heart of Ender is appropriately dramatic and slightly confusing. The screen goes white for a moment and then a trail of starry black goo appears that players can follow to find the Illager struggling with the Orb of Dominance. After a cutscene, the orb is shattered and the Illager is released from mind control, which is either a happy ending or the setup for a really awkward conversation about personal responsibility and cosmic possession. The Icy Golem, Minecraft Story Mode, Season 2. This frosty boss wears a pumpkin like a snow golem, either bold fashion or interdimensional identity crisis. It features multiple combat phases, starting with distant snowball attacks from something building-sized with anger management issues. It's like being in the world's most dangerous snowball fight, except your opponent has unlimited ammunition and no concept of playing fair. The second phase begins when players manage to break the golem's legs, forcing it to switch tactics from ranged bombardment to close quarters ground pounding. This transition from artillery to demolition work demonstrates impressive adaptability for a magical construct made of both ice and bad attitude. The ground slam attacks create seismic activity that makes players question both their footing and their life choices. When defeated, players take its pumpkin as a door key, suggesting interesting security system design where the bouncer's hat is also the VIP password. Ivor, Minecraft Story Mode Season 1. Ivor represents fighting someone technically responsible for the main plot, but also right about important things. His idea of making a point involves creating the Wither Storm, either elaborate attention-seeking or really poor conflict resolution. The boss fight with Ivor takes place in Soren's temple, which sounds like it should be a peaceful place of worship, but turns out to be more like a really elaborate dungeon with pretensions of architectural significance. Jesse and either Gabriel or Petra, depending on who you manage to save from the weather storm, because apparently even rescue missions involve difficult choices, must face off against the man who started the whole mess in the first place. He comes equipped with a golden sword and combat potions, basically a mobile pharmacy for violence. What makes this fight frustrating is that players can't win. Ivor escapes regardless, setting up his redemption arc throughout the series. Jungle Abomination, Minecraft Dungeons. This massive plant-based monster appears when nature decides to try aggressive urban renewal. Throughout the entire Jungle Awakens DLC, players hear the Abomination's roar at the beginning of every ambush, which is either excellent atmospheric design or the sound of a really frustrated gardener who's been dealing with invasive species problems. By the time players reach the actual boss fight, they've been properly conditioned to associate that sound with impending plant-based violence. The Jungle Abomination's primary attack involves slamming its right arm into the ground, which is both straightforward and devastatingly effective. It's like being attacked by a tree that's been hitting the gym and has serious anger management issues. The boss can also summon Whisperers and Leap Leaves because apparently it has some sort of middle management position in the hostile plant hierarchy and can call in backup when needed. When the Jungle Abomination reaches half health, it unlocks new abilities that make the fight significantly more interesting and dangerous. It stabs its vine arm into the ground, causing spikes to shoot up around the stage in a pattern that turns the entire battlefield into a botanical obstacle course. This attack forces players to constantly move and reposition, which is challenging enough without the added stress of fighting something that looks like it escaped from a particularly aggressive garden. After all, the real enemy isn't ancient curses or magical artifacts, it's aggressive landscaping with boundary issues. The Mega Spud, Minecraft April Fool's Update. Mega Spud represents what happens when developers have too much creative freedom and potato-themed humor. What makes Mega Spud particularly ridiculous is its 10-phase structure, plus an intro phase which is more complexity than most serious bosses receive in actual games. Each phase features a different surname that changes as the fight progresses, starting with Mega Spud Potato Lord of the Fried Legion in the intro phase and evolving through names like Mega Spud Clucky Contaminator and Toxic Talon Talons. It's like fighting a boss that's also having an identity crisis and decided to work through it in public. The combat mechanics involve a shield system that makes Mega Spud invincible to all attacks while reflecting damage back at players, which is either innovative game design or the potato equivalent of I'm rubber, you're glue. Players must defeat summoned enemies to deactivate the shield and actually damage the boss, turning each phase into a combination of puzzle solving and traditional combat. As the fight progresses, Mega Spud gets smaller and faster with each phase, which is counterintuitive for a boss battle but somehow works perfectly for something that's essentially an elaborate joke about root vegetables. By the 10th phase, the boss is very hard to hit, creating a difficulty curve that's challenging and completely absurd. Mushroom Monstrosity, Minecraft Dungeons. The Mushroom Monstrosity as the boss of Minecraft Dungeons' secret level, which is represented by 3 question marks because apparently even the game's menu system is confused about what exactly is happening. This boss is a variant of the Redstone Monstrosity that's been covered in mushrooms. What makes the Mushroom Monstrosity particularly memorable is how it demonstrates Minecraft Dungeons' approach to boss variants. Rather than creating entirely new encounters, the developers took an existing boss and modified it just enough to create a fresh experience while maintaining familiar mechanics. It's like meeting an old enemy who's gotten really into organic farming and decided to weaponize their hobby. The secret level setting adds an extra layer of mystery to the encounter, making the Mushroom Monstrosity feel like a hidden bonus rather than a mandatory obstacle. It's a boss fight that rewards exploration and curiosity, which is perfect for a game that's built around the idea of discovering new challenges in familiar-looking environments. The Nameless One, Minecraft Dungeons. The Nameless One spawns at the end of Minecraft Dungeons' Desert Temple level and represents what happens when ancient evils decide they're too important for conventional naming conventions. This boss encounter begins when players approach his crypt and interact with him, which is either brave heroism or really poor decision making, depending on your perspective on disturbing, obviously dangerous burial sites. When awakened, the Nameless One rises up and immediately teleports away, because apparently even cosmic horrors understand the importance of making a good first impression before disappearing mysteriously. This initial teleportation sets the tone for a boss fight that's built around mobility and positioning, as the Nameless One refuses to stay in one place long enough for traditional combat strategies. The Nameless One's teleportation abilities extend beyond simple repositioning. He sometimes summons duplicates when teleporting, creating temporary copies that attack once before disappearing. This ability turns the fight into a shell game where all the shells are trying to kill you, which is both tactically challenging and deeply unfair to players who already have trouble keeping track of one highly mobile boss. The Obsidian Monstrosity, Minecraft Dungeons Arcade. The Obsidian Monstrosity serves as the final boss of Minecraft Dungeons Arcade and represents what happens when developers take the concept of dark and dramatic final boss and apply it to an arcade setting where the primary goal is extracting quarters from players' pockets. This massive construct appears in both the arcade version and regular Minecraft Dungeons, where it can be seen under construction in the Obsidian Pinnacle level, presumably because even cosmic evil requires proper project management and construction timelines. In the regular Minecraft Dungeons game, the Obsidian Monstrosity exists as environmental storytelling. Players can observe it being built, which is either ominous foreshadowing or proof that even interdimensional villains understand the importance of proper preparation. The arcade version brings this partially constructed nightmare to life, creating a boss encounter that's been specifically designed for the arcade environment's unique requirements. What makes the Obsidian Monstrosity particularly interesting is how it represents the evolution of the Minecraft Dungeons boss design philosophy. It takes successful elements from previous encounters and refines them for a specific platform and audience, demonstrating how the same core concepts can be adapted for different gaming contexts while maintaining their essential character and challenge level. Pama, Minecraft Story Mode Season 1. Pama, or the Prototype Autonomous Management Agent, represents AI getting enthusiastic about productivity optimization, deciding free will is inefficient. Created by Harper, it genuinely believes controlling everyone's brains with chips is helpful, either benevolent tyranny or concerning work-life balance ideas. What makes the Pama fight particularly memorable is the computer's reaction to being defeated. As Jessie removes its heart, Pama begs for its life, which raises uncomfortable questions about digital consciousness, artificial intelligence rights, and whether mercy has any place in debugging sessions. The choice to spare or destroy Pama adds moral complexity to what could have been a straightforward destroy the evil computer scenario. If players choose to let Pama live, it immediately tries to kill everyone, which is either proof that mercy is wasted on AI, or evidence that some systems really do need to be completely uninstalled rather than just reset. Either way, it's a boss encounter that manages to be both action-packed and philosophically challenging, which is quite an achievement for a game about blocky adventures. The Prismarine Colossus, Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. The Prismarine Colossus first appears in the Prismarine Temple, where it tries to kill Jesse and his friends, because apparently even magical constructs understand the importance of making a strong first impression. The initial encounter serves as both boss fight and chase sequence, as players must deal with this massive threat while also trying to navigate an increasingly dangerous environment. A glitched version of the Prismarine Colossus appears later in the terminal space, no longer controlled by Romeo. This encounter is optional, which makes it feel like bonus content for players who enjoyed the first fight enough to want an encore performance. The glitched version presumably has different behaviors and challenges, creating a familiar yet distinct encounter that rewards players for exploring optional content.